All right, we are recording, we are live. Most of you know my story, but I'm going to share it with you really briefly, just in case you don't, for those of you that are newer coaches. For those of you that aren't, I'm sorry, you have to hear it again. So I basically started coaching back in 2011. It's been 8 years. And I found this opportunity because I was actually searching for a second job. I wanted a second job, but I didn't want a second time clock or a second boss because I needed extra income to pay off my student loans. And there's a huge backstory. I went through a major suicidal depression. Fitness and nutrition saved me. There were so many things that happened in my childhood that brought me to coaching. And it's so true what Tony Robbins says, like, what life is happening for you, not to you. I watched my dad beat my mom when I was a child. That led to us selling everything. My dad left the state. We moved into these low-income apartments. And I remember one night I heard my mom crying herself to sleep because I had asked for $5 for a soccer tournament that day, and she didn't have the money. And I could just hear her sobbing through the walls of our apartment. And from that moment forward, I stopped asking for money, but I also, money became such a thing for me. How was I going to create freedom so that my mom would never have to think that she wasn't good enough? I didn't want her to think that her love wasn't enough. And so when I found coaching, I was really excited because I get to help people with fitness and nutrition. It had saved me from my depression, which of course was not easy and was not fast. It was years, but it had saved me, and I wanted to be able to pay that forward to other people. So when the coaching was brought to me, I was the easiest yes you'll ever meet. I was like, oh, you can earn income helping other people, and I can do this from home without a boss. Sign me up. I'll figure it out later. There were no questions. I just, usually I'm a researcher. I'm just like, give it to me. I want to do this. And my first month of coaching, I earned $70. And the reason why I share that with you guys is because, one, Beachbody does not guarantee any level of success or income. You have to do the work for that. And it's based on your time, your effort, your skill, your ability. But that $70 to me meant that I could truly help people. I invited 400 people that month. 3 people said yes. 3 people said yes. I was like, that's probably the worst ratio. I don't think I know of anybody that has invited 400 people and only had 3 people say yes, but that was me, and I was excited about it. I would have invited 1,000 people to have 3 people say yes, because it meant that I got to change those 3 people's lives, and it meant that I was actively building this coaching business. But when I got started, I was just going to earn some extra income, and by month 2, I had earned $800. By month 3 was $1,200. But a year into the business, I was doing this part-time, working a full-time job. I had replaced my full-time income after 1 year. And so at that point, I knew, I'm going to leave the job. I just don't know. It took me a little while to do it. And we were able to buy our first house. And that has led to many amazing things. And I'm not going to even dive into all that because I have so many things I want to cover with you guys today. But what I do want to cover really briefly is wherever you're at in your life, in your business right now, it's happened for you. And a lot of you will see that there's a struggle in your life and you'll want to use that as an excuse. That struggle is an opportunity for you to overcome it and turn around and help more people and have a bigger impact. Whether that struggle is in your life, in your business, the struggle of we had everything and losing everything as a child taught me, one, that quality time with people and money wasn't going to buy my happiness. I was happy when I was broke. I was happy when we had money as kids, and I was happy when we were broke. But it does money allows us opportunity to change a lot of lives. Money allows us a lot of opportunity to not have stress so that my mom doesn't have to cry herself to sleep at night, right? And that's what this business was for me. It was a way for me to have a positive impact helping people in something that could have been looked at I wanted to commit suicide. I wanted to end my life. But in overcoming that, I get to turn around and help a lot more people. And I get to do it through this business, and which I love. So I'm really excited tonight to bring you guys how to pay off debt. And then we're going to dive into how to increase your income so you can pay off debt. And I really wish that I would have made slides because it's really cool when you have slides and things to look at. But I'm just not that fancy. So maybe next time, maybe I'll get better next year. But I do have a list of things for you. So number 1, when it came to paying off debt, because I had student loan debt, I could barely pay my bills. I had deferred my student loans and I didn't know how I was going to pay for them, which was such a blessing. It was an opportunity. because that opportunity led me to this and led me to going after goals and dreams that I didn't even think are possible. It was like, wouldn't that be nice? I used to think, wouldn't that be nice to have a second home in Tahoe? Wouldn't that be nice to live in my second home 4 months a year? Wouldn't that be nice? Instead, this business showed me that I could actually accomplish those things and get to work and do it. So number one, the thing that I always do is, or what started all this was, I wrote out all of our required expenses in one category, all of our extra expenses in the other, and then all of our debt, lowest to highest, in the third category. So write out your required expenses, your extra expenses, and your debt, lowest to highest. So that was the first thing I did. I went through all of my credit cards, all of my bank statements, everything, and wrote down everything we spent money on. I still do this. That's why I have money. I still do this today. I comb through our bank statements, and if there are charges that I'm like, that is not serving us, why are we spending that money? It gets X'd. So as soon as I did that, that was number one. Number two, I cut out any extras that could be cut. I cut out cable. There was no need for me when I was building my business to have cable. We still don't have cable. Yes, there's Hulu and Netflix, but even back then, we had one. We didn't have Hulu, Netflix, and Amazon like we have now. We had one that was $10 a month. That saved us $120 a month on our cable that I could then put towards debt. I'll get into that later, but I want you guys to create these lists. I want you to comb through your accounts, your statements, because there are things that money's going out on that you're not using. Maybe you have an Audible account and you haven't used Audible in 5 months. Maybe you have a Netflix account and you haven't watched it. You're just watching Hulu. What are those things that you're paying for that really aren't serving your life? And that $10, that $100 could be used to pay off debt or could be used to put into a savings account for investments. I'm a very good steward of my money when it comes to these things. So cut out those things. Another thing I cut out, so I cut out cable, I cut out coffee trips. If you know me, I go to the coffee shop every day now. I work my butt off so that I can go spend a ridiculous amount of money at a coffee shop every single day. But in the beginning, when I had debt that I wanted to pay off and investments that I wanted to make, I cut out that extra trip to the coffee shop. That $5 a day on that coffee and that blueberry muffin and that donut, I didn't do it anymore. It just got cut. So what are those things that are on your statements that you can cut out? That's number two. Number three, create a budget. So write down all the expenses, which I had you do in number one, that are required. What are the things that you have to pay for each month? Your gas, your electricity, your, trying to think of things, your water, your rent or your mortgage, any insurance, like we have homeowners insurance, right? Food, yeah, food is a big expense. That's probably my biggest expense. What are those things that you have to spend, and what is the amount you're going to allocate for that? And some of them are really easy. You know what your garbage bill is going to be, right? If you have to pay garbage, if you're a homeowner or in your rent, you have to pay garbage. You know what that's going to cost. So write out all of those things. Create that budget of how much you're going to spend. I always created stuff for gas, for food, for all of these items. And then there was always an extra column, and the extra column was usually for extra unexpected expenses that come up that you really didn't know were going to be there. And it was tight. My budget was tight. We didn't have a lot of extras. We didn't eat out. Eating out was, maybe once a month, and we would budget for that. It wasn't an every week thing. A lot of people who say they're broke eat out 3 or 4 times a week, and the money that they're spending on eating out, one, they could easily in week 1 start their coaching business and earn some money, right? So create that budget. And then from number 2, the extra things that you've cut out, allocate those extra funds because you were paying it already, allocate it to pay off your debt. Allocate it towards those debt payments. Number 4, sell unwanted gifts and household items that you have sitting around your house and use what you make on those items towards your debt. And this is how I started my coaching business. I literally if I couldn't make enough on the stuff that was sitting around my house, I was going to sell the couch and the TV. That might seem extreme, But really think about it. I'll sit on my bed and work my business without a couch or a TV to change my life. Like, those were the sacrifices that I would make, right? Because I didn't want to be living the same way in another 5 years. It paid off. All the stuff that I sold, I was able to start my coaching business. Number 5, put any work bonuses or cash gifts that you get towards your debt. You know, a lot of times I'll see somebody post on social media that their spouse got a $3,000 bonus at work and they can't wait to go spend it. Like, if I get a bonus, it goes into a savings account for investments. Like, it doesn't go to me being more of a consumer and purchasing material things that are going to sit in my house. Number 6, and this one's one of my favorites. So Dave Ramsey, if you guys follow him, he has what's called the snowball effect. So earlier I said create a list of your debt lowest to highest. And what he says is you're making the minimum payments on all those debt accounts, right? Your lowest debt payment to your highest debt payment. But what you want to do is pay more. So all these extra ways I shared with you to pay more, pay it towards that smallest debt amount that you have. Because then as soon as you get that smallest debt amount paid off, you can roll that payment into the next debt payment. Does that make sense? And then you'll get that one paid off faster because you're paying more than the minimum. And then once that's paid off, you can roll that into the next one. So it's kind of like a snowball effect of paying off your debt. Yeah, Cass. The debt, right? I don't agree with all of his principles, but the debt snowball is amazing. Amazing. Number 7, and this one I want to challenge you guys. If you're coaches, most of you are all coaches, I hope, but maybe not. Get a side hustle. Coaching, you guys are already doing this one, but here's the thing. Use the income from your side hustle to pay off your debt. Every dime that I was earning with coaching in my first year that didn't go towards my Shakeology or my business service fee went into an account for us to save to put a down payment on our first house. I didn't spend it. It was extra. That meant we were still living really tight. It meant that I was still barely making it, that we were still having to budget, that I still wasn't having that coffee, that we still didn't have the cable, that we still weren't going out to eat. But all of that money went to buy that first house. And the reason I said this is a challenge for you guys is you all have a side hustle. But I want to challenge you guys to do a post tonight or a live video tonight. And I want you guys to share from the perspective of go live and say, I just did a training on how to pay off debt. Here are the things that I learned. And in the things that you learned, add side hustle. And then share how your side hustle is going to help you pay off debt or save for investments or whatever that may be for you. And invite people to join you. Because there are 750,000 Uber drivers. If you guys saw my video today, 750,000 Uber drivers, which I heard this from my mentor. And on average, they earn something like $90 to $360 a month. Okay, let that sink in. 750,000 Uber drivers, $90 to $360 a month. Do you think that there is a need for people to have a side hustle? Yes. There is a definite need just by the amount of Uber drivers. Because who wants, like, think about it. People are getting in their car who they don't know if they're crazy or not. Like, that's kind of dangerous. You don't know what person's getting into your car. I think they would rather be home, healthy, with their families, being able to earn $360 a month. And literally, what did I figure out today? 8 people on an annual all-access bot for $99 is $320 a month. There's so many people out there looking for a side hustle. So I want you guys to use what you learned. What are you going to implement in your own finances? But I also want you to go and share on your social media, live video, post, whatever that is, your team, what you're going to do, little tweaks that you're going to make in your finances, and add side hustle in there and invite them to join you. I see some people smiling like, oh, Kristi. So that's a challenge. I want to see them, and I want you guys to tag me. And then number 8, and this is one it varies from person to person. This one isn't necessarily something that I think is necessary for everybody, but for some people it is. Credit card spending. And I want to share a story with you. I have no problem putting everything on a credit card. I put everything on a credit card and I pay it off every month because I want rewards points and I want like free money. But my husband, I love him. He's amazing. And he has changed his life with finances. But in the beginning, when we first started dating, if he had a credit card, he would just put everything on credit card, like stuff he doesn't need. Oh, all of a sudden he needs something that really doesn't need. He's going to go put it on a credit card. And he would rack up $6,000 of credit card debt in like a matter of a few months. I'd pay it off. He'd rack it up again. And so we had to actually cut up his credit card. Like he doesn't have credit cards in his wallet because, and I don't think he has the habit anymore. I think he'd be fine to have a credit card. I trust him completely. But back then it just created more debt, and it was debt that I then was having to pay off. So if you are somebody that's a chronic spender with credit cards, I would definitely recommend to stop the spending, get cash, use cash so that you have it within your budget. I've seen people do envelopes where it's like, okay, here's, $500 budget for groceries. This is what I'm going to spend for groceries to help with their budgeting. Like I said, credit card debt was never a problem for me. I was really good at being able to put everything that was necessary on that card and pay it off. But that one is one that you have to know yourself and know which way you need to go with that. All right. So those were the 8 points. Okay, there. It kind of cut out for a second. And the last thing is reward yourself along the way. Like reward yourself for making habits in your spending. Like I watched my husband have to change his habits when it came to paying off debt and saving money for investments. And it was something that he would do really well, and then he'd fall back into old habits and do really well and fall back into old habits. But we were always revisiting every month and sometimes every week. Like we still do this. We still go through what our expenses are and what different bills are going to be and what like things are going through on our statements and what we can cut out, not because we can't afford it, but because I want to be good stewards of our money. Like I truly feel like money can do so much. It's not a bad thing. And some of you probably think that it's evil because that's what people out there in the world want to tell you. But like an evil person is going to do evil things with money. A really good person is going to do really good things with money. Money just magnifies your situation. So if you're a really happy person right now, like money can magnify that. If you're a really angry person right now, money can magnify that. It's just a magnifier. And it's a tool that we all have to use to live our life. And so we might as well have abundance of it and give it to people however you want to do. Maybe you want to take your kids on a trip to Disney World, pay off debt, whatever that may be for you. So now we're going to switch gears here. One of the things of paying off debt was use your side hustle to pay off your debt. Take all the money from your side hustle and pay off debt. But how do you increase your income in your side hustle? So that's the next gear that I want to switch to. We have 19 minutes. Oh yeah, so good. Sharice said, you're a badass at making money. Amazing book. If you have a hard time with the money mindset, you actually will repel money. Like even if you're trying to build your business and you're doing all the right activities, if you don't think you're deserving of money, you will repel it. And I highly recommend You're a Badass at Making Money or Get Rich Lucky Bitch. Those are both really great money books to help with your money mindset. Highly recommend them. If you're uncomfortable talking about money, recommend them because I am so confident talking about money. We can talk about money all day long. And I think it probably is my background. I had a Series 7 and 66 worked in the financial industry and worked with people who made millions of dollars, like had, millions of dollars in their accounts and in their investment accounts. And so I'm really comfortable with money. So do you think creating a new identity and assigning a new process to our identity of being someone who is making conscious financial decisions would be helpful? Yes, totally. I definitely think that would be helpful. I'm pretty much in love with the Atomic Habits model for creating new habits. Love that book. Amazing, amazing book. Definitely. And I feel like anyone, another really great book another one on top of Atomic Habits is Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. It's another one that's about habits and changing that identity, breaking the habit of being yourself. And I love it because I have seen people, my husband's a perfect example, who are not great with money become incredible with money. Like, he is incredible with money. And that wasn't the case before. So you can change any of the habits that you have with money right now, but it has to be a conscious choice that you're going to work on that. And yeah, I created a new identity. I love that. So another great book. There's so many books. If you guys don't know what book to go read to like get yourself to the next level, you have a lot of ideas from this call. Okay, so increasing your income in your business. The first thing that I want to say, and it goes back to Atomic Habits, so it's kind of a perfect segue, is to create better consistency habits in your life. Like, your habits are either working for you or they're working against you. They're either getting you closer to your goals and dreams or farther from them. And I shared this today on the live video, but it's worth mentioning because I don't think everyone will see the live video. And it's that when I started this business, there were very simple things that I did to build myself to 6 figures. And Beachbody does not guarantee any level of success or income. But in doing that, I woke up every day at 4 a.m. And it was because I started work at 6:30. I needed to get a workout in. I needed to get a post done on social media. And then while I was driving to work, I listened to a National Coach Wake-Up Call every day. And this brings me to one of my other tips that I'll get to, but just to touch on it, is act as if your dream already exists. Listening to the National Coach Wake-Up Call every single day on my way to work made me believe that my goals and dreams were already my reality, because that's the reality that I was putting into my head every single morning for 30 minutes while I was driving to work. And so we are the sum of the people we hang out with the most. If you're hanging out with 5 broke people, you're going to be the 6th. You need to change your circle. If you're hanging out with 5 negative Nellies, you're going to be the 6th. You need to find a new circle of influence. You're going to be the sum of the people that you hang out with the most. And so I wanted to be hanging out with successful people. My coach, disappeared by a few weeks in, and I didn't really know like successful coaches that would want to hang out with me. So I put myself in their circles by listening to the National Coach Wake-Up Call on my way to work. When I got to work, I had to work. When I got on my lunch break, I would add people to my network. I didn't have a network of coaches, or a network of people who were seeing my message. I hadn't even been on social media for 3 years. So I started growing that network and started inviting people. That was my lunch break. When I got off work, I had to work out again because I was training for an Ironman. Then I would go home and I would follow up with people. Very simple. I did my workout. I drank my shake. I posted to social. Did my personal development on the way to work. On my drive home, I actually did more personal development. On my lunch, I invited and added to my network. After work, I followed up with people. Those consistent habits were fit around everything I was already doing, like habits I already had. I already had a habit of waking up and doing my workout. So once I finished that workout, I added doing my shake and posting to social. When I was driving to work, that was a habit. I added the National Coach Wake-Up Call. On my lunch break was just literally wasting time eating for an hour so that I could go back to work and get off work. So instead of wasting that hour, I added people and I invited people. So you can see that my day didn't change that much when I started coaching, but I created better consistency habits that were anchored to what I was already doing that were going to change my life. And I built myself to 6 figures. Really easy to do those things and really easy not to do them. So number 2, the act as if your dream already exists. You have to have gratitude and vision that it already exists. Like, it's going to happen because you're going to do the work until it happens. It's going to happen because you are going to do the work until it happens. And the one thing with this one is I'll see a lot of people, a lot of you, maybe not you on this call, but a lot of you out there will say, I'm having a tough time. And that's the words you speak to yourself. That's not acting as if the dream has already happened. Instead, I'm learning what it takes to make this dream happen. Instead of having a tough time, I'm learning what it takes. Or, hey, Kristi, So this is what's been going on, and I want to get real great at it. Lots of people are telling me no, and that's awesome because that means I'm doing the work and I'm putting myself out there and this is going to happen. I'm going to find the people that need me. How can I take it to the next level, Kristi? That's a very different mindset from I'm having a tough time. People are telling me no. That's a very negative mindset, and you're going to attract a lot more negativity. You're going to make your life and business so much harder by the thoughts that you think. So act as if your dream has already happened. And if you catch yourself like, oh, this is so tough, like, what would Kristi say? What would Kristi tell me to do right now? Because until you make that switch, it is going to be so much harder to build that dream life. You have to grow into the person that you need to become to make that life happen. And part of that is changing that mindset and the words that you speak to yourself. Number 3 in increasing your income, say less to more people. Say less to more people. And this has been a big one on our team this year, like a big motto, like going out, reaching out to people. Are you open to earning extra income from home? Are you open to earning extra income from home? Are you open to checking out information on one of my virtual boot camps? Are you open? If not, no worries, not gonna hurt my feelings. I know how much this has changed my life, and I'm always interested in helping other people if it's something that they're open to. Are they open? Say less to more people. It doesn't need to be this long, wordy thing. People are busy, they're not gonna read it. And if they're not open, you don't need to send them information or tell them what it's all about. You just wanna see if they're open. Then it takes the fear of rejection because they're not rejecting you. They're just not open to anything. They're not open. You don't need to share anything with them. Number 4 in increasing your income, you have to grow your team. You can increase your income and pay off some debt if you are just signing up customers. But if you want to build a residual income that pays off debt and allows you to save and invest for retirement and have your money making money, you need to be growing your team. And you need to be doing it consistently. If you're not growing your team consistently, then your team is shrinking because people are always going to be quitting. People do, like if you walk into a barbecue and there are 100 people in the room and you're like, I'm a teacher. Maybe there are 2 other teachers in the room. The other 98 people don't hate you because you're a teacher. They just don't connect with you because they're not a teacher and they don't want to be one. And it's the same with coaching. Like, this isn't going to be for everyone. Do I believe it's for everyone? Yes. I believe everybody needs to be healthier, happier, have more income in their life. Because I believe every single person could use more income to make an even more positive impact. All the good people. I believe this can help everyone. But not everyone is going to want it. And so if you're not growing your team is shrinking. Your team is shrinking. Because people are going to be quitting or not showing up. Because they're going to follow your lead. If you're not growing your team won't grow their team. Number 5, be here in 4 years without getting fired. Be here in 4 years without getting fired. And here's what I mean by that. I'm not just saying like dabble for 4 years. I'm saying go all in for 4 years. Go all in where if you had a boss, that boss would not fire you. Because I'm sure a lot of you would have been fired by now. And that's okay. It's your business. But I'm challenging you to go all in and be here in 4 years. Like all in. Showing up consistently. Doing those consistent habits that are going to build your business. That doesn't mean every week's going to be perfect. You're going to have lower production weeks and higher production weeks, but you won't have no production weeks. And the reason why I say 4 years is because when I was a new coach, the way I looked at this business was I went and invested in a 4-year college degree. I was $100,000 in debt. When I got out of college, my job paid me $30,000 a year. I wasn't paying off those student loans, making $30,000 a year. I was not even covering my expenses. I had multiple roommates. I was like, if I could give 4 years of my life to go into debt, working my booty off to finish, because I changed my major 3 times, to finish in 4 years, why wouldn't I give that same level of commitment and effort to my dreams? If I can give it to a college degree because society says that's normal and that's what you do, why can't I give that same effort? Same effort, same commitment, when it's hard, when it's easy, like I'm still gonna show up and do the work. So that's what I did. I'm like, I'm gonna be here in 4 years. And any coach that I've known that's here in 4 years, I will tell you, they are all in for 4 years doing the consistent habits. They're earning more than what they were making going in debt for their college degree. And all in for 4 years. Sometimes people are like not full in their first year, and then they go all in the next 4 years. So like 5 years into their business. And then number 6, get better in the areas you suck at. I hear so many excuses of like, well, I'm not great at marketing. Awesome. Go out there and invite people and prospect people, and then focus on getting better at marketing. Focus on getting better at posting on social media. I sucked at posting on social media. I sucked at marketing. I sucked at prospecting and inviting. I was the person that none of you would have signed up with. None of you would have signed up with me. My invites were, my posts to social media were like, I just did ab ripper X. Would anybody like to buy this from me? Not kidding. I wish I was. I would message people and say, oh my gosh, I just became a coach. Have you heard of P90X? Yeah. Would you want to start that program? Like you could buy it. It's $129. I'm not kidding. But I was consistent. And some people said yes, which was always like, looking back, I'm like, that's really weird. By month 2, I was like, this feels really icky. I feel like I'm just a salesperson. I'm just asking people to buy things. Like, why did I get started in the first place? Like, I got started because I want to help people. So I need to reach out and show the intent of wanting to help them, not of making the sale. So I had to get better at those things. So what are the areas that you want to get better at? Do you want to get better at growing a network? Maybe you don't have a lot of people to invite. Maybe you need to focus on growing your network. Maybe you want to get better at inviting or better at following up. Whatever that is, you either focus on getting better at that or hire out. Like I suck at following up, so I hire someone to do that because I'm really bad at it. I'm really great at the initial and then really bad at the follow-up. Inviting to coaching. Sarah wants to get better at inviting to coaching. Now, that being said, if you are a coach that builds through challenge groups, you get someone started in a challenge group and then you invite to coaching, that's great. If that works for you, do that. What works for you in your business, keep doing that. Don't stop doing the things that work, but the things that you are using as an excuse as why you aren't successful, look at that and say, what books do I need to read? What trainings do I need to watch to grow in that area, to figure it out? And last, believe in your ability to figure it out. Every single one of you can be whatever you want to be in this business. If you want to earn part-time income, $500 a month to pay off debt, you can do that. You could do that this month. You could go do that today if you talk to enough people. Some of you want to earn $1,000 or $2,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 or $20,000. All of that's possible. It's being consistent in those behaviors that are going to build your business. And when this is not something that I have on my list, but we just talked about this in our Q&A beforehand. It was such a great question Sarah asked. Sarah's like, I'm doing the work and I'm at Success Club Zero. And like, how do I lead by example if I'm at Success Club Zero and I'm doing the work? She is doing the work. That is leading by example. The leading by example comes in how you role model the way when it's not easy. When I'm at Success Club Zero, I have a lot of time because nobody's telling me yes. So I have more time to go out there and prospect and have conversations with people. I have more time to think of ideas for marketing that I can get excited about, like doing live videos. I'm going to be doing a live video every single day going forward. Call me out if I don't do it. Like I am committed to that. That's part of my marketing. I came up with it because I was talking with another coach, but if you're at Success Club Zero, but you are doing the work and you know you're doing the work, consistently keep doing the work and know that you're going to find those people that need your help. Not every month's going to be your best month. Some months are going to have great months. But the months that you feel like you're failing the most, Success is going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. If you can figure out how to bring that joy and that enthusiasm, turn around and like share with your team, hey, I'm at Success Club Zero. I'm doing the work. I'm showing up. Like if you can, no excuses, say you're doing it and you're at Success Club Zero, pat yourself on the back and get out there and have fun with it. Go do a live video. Go say you're going to grow your Facebook to 5,000 people or your Instagram to 10,000 people, and get excited about figuring that out so that you have more people to hear your message. That will fire you up, and you will attract those people that need your message, because when we are frustrated or struggling, we'll attract more of that. So get really excited about the struggle. Get excited about it because it's an opportunity for you to grow. It's an opportunity for you to role model the way and teach other people how to think through those struggles. Those struggles happen for you. Like every struggle in my business has built me to a better leader, a more confident leader, and a whole nother level that I didn't even think existed. But when it's easy, we're not always looking for those opportunities to grow. I try to look for the opportunities to grow even when it's easy, because that way, that's where my mind goes when it's hard. And it's a process, just like fitness. You get started with your fitness journey, and at first it's hard. It's really hard until it becomes a habit, and then it becomes easy. Your mindset's the same way. When you go to a struggle and your mind just goes to struggle and negativity and doubt, like you can change that. It's a process of changing your mindset. It's a process of thinking differently. And I shared this earlier. Brendon Burchard always says, like, how would your best self react to this? How would your best self handle this situation? I'm not good at that because my best self just wants to be a jerk. I just want to be like, no, I want to wallow in my shit right now. So what I have to do is, how would I want my team to show up if this were to happen to them? How would I want to lead the team through this? There are people watching you, whether that's your kids or your team or your customers. How would you want them to handle that situation? How are you going to role model the way? That helps hold me accountable to being my best self, because I wouldn't do it for me, but I'll do it for all of you. Like, how do I bring joy and enthusiasm when I'm going through something that's such a struggle? I see the opportunity. I start searching for, how is this opportunity going to help me, and how can I use it to share my message? How can I take this message and make it a message? How can I take the adversity I'm going through and use it to my advantage? Most people will go through adversity and give up and quit. You use adversity to your advantage, and now life is happening for you. All right, that's all I have. It's about to cut out. If anybody has a question, comment real quick and I'll get to it. Thanks, Katie. Yes, everything is figure outable. Everything. And it's so cool because it gets addicting to grow to that next level and to learn more. And I don't know at what point we just think that we can't even learn. Like, I look at John C. Maxwell. He's almost 80, or he is 80, and he's still growing. And I want to be like that. I want to be 90 years old, like flexing my muscles, still using my mind to grow to a whole nother level. Like, I don't want to get complacent, because that I just don't like that feeling. I like the feeling of joy and enthusiasm of growing and figuring things out. Question: when I create events to invite people to a challenge group, what do I usually advertise it in? When I create events, I invite all the friends and family I can to the event, every people I can, and then I reach out to those people and I say, hey, could you do me a favor? And if they respond back, could you invite your friends and family to this event? I have a really big goal of impacting 1,000 or 100 or whatever that is for you lives this year. I know I struggle with depression, and fitness and nutrition saved me. And I know there are people out there on your friends list that probably can be saved by this too. Do you think you could invite them? And then they're marketing for me. So I used to get people to invite to my events, all their friends and family.